All right, so let's talk about how to stop diarrhea. Now, one of the big problems when you have diarrhea is you can become very, very deficient in electrolytes really fast and certain nutrients that can create huge problems for your heart, and you might feel dizzy because one of the purposes in your colon and even the small intestine is to absorb these electrolytes, and you need the electrolytes for your heart. So if we're depleting them, it can create an electrolyte problem, and you're going to notice it with the rhythm of your heart, whether it's a palpitation or an arrhythmia. So we don't want to have diarrhea for a very long time because that can be dangerous. So when you have diarrhea, you're eliminating electrolytes, fluid can become dehydrated, salts, okay? Also probiotics like microbes, you're getting rid of those. And you're also losing acids, okay? So there's an acid called lactic acid, which you need in your colon to help you absorb nutrients as well as defend yourself against certain pathogenic microbes. So it has other functions as well. So basically all these things are wiped out. And so what we want to do if you have diarrhea is we want to make sure we put them back in. And it wouldn't hurt also to add trace minerals back in there too, because one of the big problems around the world with major zinc deficiencies in children is diarrhea. Having diarrhea through food poisoning or whatever can cause a loss of zinc, but also a zinc deficiency can also cause diarrhea back and forth. So diarrhea can come from a virus or a bacteria or food poisoning or antibiotics or consuming sugar alcohols like xylitol, erythritol, mannitol, maltitol. It can also come from excessive bile. Now, bile lubricates the colon, and if you have too much of it, it can create diarrhea. What happens when you remove the gallbladder, for example, sometimes one of the side effects is now you have this huge runoff or excessive amounts of drainage of bile from the liver, and that alone can create diarrhea. And the other problem is when you have diarrhea, you're not able to recycle this bile effectively. So the bile then, you start losing bile and you become bile deficient. So it can create a problem with your ability to digest fats, absorb fat-soluble vitamins, things like that. Gut dysfunction, whether you have Crohn's, diverticulitis, irritable bowel syndrome, or celiac, if there's damage in the lining, that can create diarrhea or constipation and a lot of problems with absorption of nutrients. So if you have that, I suggest you watch my video on that. I put a link down below. And also certain drugs have side effects of giving you diarrhea. Metformin, certain drugs that target depression or anxiety can cause diarrhea as well. So now in the large colon, okay, we have a lot of microbes, probably about 400 different species, okay, and they're all working together and they eat your fiber that you feed it, okay, through vegetables, other fibers. And what they do is they ferment it and they turn it into these certain acids that are beneficial for you, called small chain fatty acids. And those acids can feed the colon cells. They can also give your body energy, and they can also help things like insulin resistance and help your immunity. Now, when the microbes ferment the fiber, there's a certain bulk that's formed, and that's part of the stool. So we have the microbes and the fiber. Both of these are essential in preventing diarrhea. So one thing you really want to do is you want to put back in the probiotic, the microbes, okay? Get a really good probiotic that you can take that survives the stomach, that can go down there and start building up this natural, what is called flora, friendly bacteria. Kefir is something you can also consume. Make sure it's plain. Goat's kefir is much better because it's lower in carbs, but this is a really good thing to take, which actually has probiotics. It's much better than yogurt, has a lot more friendly bacteria than yogurt. One thing that I also recommend is kombucha tea. Kombucha tea has some lactic acid in there, and it can replace what's lost and make you feel a lot better really quick. Now, as far as what fiber to do once you had diarrhea, here's some recommendations. Pickles. Why? Because pickles have already had help in their fermentation process, and those are much easier to break down because you're also getting some friendly bacteria and you're getting certain acids with that. and fiber all at once. So if you consume pickled or fermented vegetables, you're going to be one step ahead of the game, because it not only has the fiber in a digestible form, it has acids with that. Like pickled juice has certain acids that are really friendly to your colon, and you also have friendly microbes as well. Sauerkraut, really, really beneficial because it has the prebiotic, the fiber, and the probiotic as once. Kimchi, awesome. Berries, especially blackberries, seem to work really, really good, giving your microbes a chance to take that fiber and slow this process down. Carob is a really good remedy. Get some carob powder and take that. That seems to work very well. All right, so there you have it. That's what you need to do for diarrhea. And I have another video, a complete video on the digestive system to really understand the whole mechanism. I think you should watch it if you have digestive issues. I put it right on the screen right here.